Good evenings, Cape Flats Stories goeienaand. Almal die mense van die Kaapse vlakte en die van ander provinces ook en reg oor die wêreld. Um Tonight we want to talk about a very important topic and I want you guys to be part of this conversation. We want to talk about the kidnapping that has increased in the last few years, months, weeks on the Cape Flats. Also the hijacking, what's happening, wat gebeur op die Kaapse vlakte, in die Kaap en as dit kom by hijacking en by kidnappings. Ek meen, you know, Khalid Parker in Lansdowne. Now, Lansdowne is so die mekaar area nie, but Khalid was killed. He's a businessman that was killed on Friday, and I just looked at the news today as well. The robbery in Epping, there was a robbery in Epping as well that took place. Die tipe dinge daar is now we're just going back to the Cape Flats. On the Cape Flats, there was a drive-by shooting in Camille Street in Mitchell's Plain. I don't know if it's gang related. 44-year-old male is declared dead. A 25-year-old was shot in his back, in his leg, and then you have a 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 14-year-old that was also shot. So wat gebeur as it come by crime? And with me in the studio, I've got a very good friend of mine. We like to speak about these type of things, and we like to talk about it because it's important for us to talk about the things that is happening in our province, in our city, in our country. It's crime that is out of control. It's crime that affects all of us. And Uncle Abu was overseas a couple of months ago, and it was different. It was we to come from overseas of na South-Africa to remember all countries have the same issues. Almal die lande het crime. Almal die lande het political issues, but they sort of control it. So I'm gonna chat with him and maybe he can give us some, wat hy gebly doen vir sy dae gewees, because we can't live like this. And it looks, and I want to say this, and I think people agree with me. It's mostly our Muslim brothers that are being targeted by these guys. Hulle staan vir jou winkel, hulle weet wie jy is. It's obviously guys, people that know that look, in order for you to hijack or to kidnap somebody, you have to have information about that person. So you have been watching that person. So that's things that we want to dig into, and we want to talk about it tonight. Uncle Abu, welcome to Cape Flood Stories once again.
Thank you, brother. It's all good, all good.
Me and you spoke earlier on, but I wanna start my question to you, and I think this is a very important question that we need answers on. What does the South African Constitution promise me and you, everybody in South Africa?
Yeah, I see. As we're talking about kidnapping, crime, and when we say crime, we look at where it stems from, right? The Constitution, the South African Constitution says to us, we have human rights, democratic freedom, and all those things, right? There's a lot of things, but is it really like that? Because I don't see that we get benefit from it. And when you talk about human rights, if you say the Constitution, we have human rights, which humans?
Yeah.
The law-abiding citizens. Law-abiding citizens, they should have those rights. But you want to tell me criminals has also got the rights? Because if you commit crime, if you're criminal, you have no rights. For example, if you go to jail, you don't have a name. Anywhere in the world, you a number.
Yes.
1670 or 86, they call your number, that's it. So they treat you like a criminal because that's your punishment.
That's right.
But now what's happening here, criminals have got rights too.
That's right.
You understand? And I don't think that is fair.
Yeah.
Towards law-abiding citizens. And people must wake up. They must study their constitutional rights.
Yes.
You understand?
But Uncle, that brings me to the following also. The Constitution is there to protect myself and you, law-abiding citizens. But it's not really doing it. if you look in the last 20, 30 years,
There we
what has
go.
happened? The Constitution to me, it's a book that nobody really is taking serious. It's a book that a government forgotten about. It's the government's job to bring laws into place. Yes, we can sort of say we as a community needs to stand up. We can stand up, yes. But remember, those criminals like that the other guy, what's his name, Prince Lut, that sold guns to the gangsters. There's another woke officer that also sold guns. These criminals, they do these things that is destroying communities, and they go to jail, having a good life in there, medical attention, everything. And once they come out after 2 3 years, they do the same. I think this is where we need to look at Uncle Abu. We are spending more money on, let's say, leap, and we need to spend more money on a police resources, but we're forgetting about our educational system that is falling apart. Our educational system, as well as our economy, that is falling apart, because it's no use we kind of prevent crime, but we actually kind of send our young people into the crime environment because we don't have jobs for them. We need to have a balanced plan of action. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, Stan, I'm gonna jump to something uh,
Mm-mm.
different, but it's on the same thing, but it's very concerning, and it needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
So it's good we talk about crime and poverty and all those things,
yeah,
but where does it fall in? Corruption.
that's right.
You understand? Now, when you talk about corruption, with corruption, it breeds all illegal activities. It's like a fly. The fly sits on your food,
Mm-mm. Yeah,
and it contaminates. That's corruption. So it breeds on all those things. So
yes,
when I talk about corruption, we're gonna come to the crime now. That is just part of it. That's the contents.
yeah,
But when I talk about corruption, corruption exists just as long as mankind,
that's right.
right?
Mm-mm.
So the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Chinese had corruption already,
Mm-mm.
right? But we that studied it, I know that. So there was corruption in ancient Egypt and ancient China. But now they applied laws now.
Yeah.
So now we have corruption here in South Africa, which, like I said to
Mm-mm.
you, all over the world.
Mm-mm.
But we have laws in place. But what is the laws doing?
Mm-mm.
You understand?
Yeah,
Are we
yeah,
applying those laws?
yeah.
You understand? So
Mm-mm.
corruption, it threatens our laws.
Mm.
Because if our law is powerful, then
Yeah,
we are ahead of corruption. Then we can
that's
attack corruption. But if
mm-mm.
corruption is above the law, then we have a problem.
Mm-mm.
You understand? I
And
hope it
and
makes
and it,
sense.
it makes sense. It comes down to those in charge, those decision makers. The decision makers of this country are corrupt because the decision makers of this country are in cahoots with the gangsters. I mean, what I spoke to another ANC official a couple of weeks back, and we spoke about the corruption. And what they told me is we need to work with him to fight against corruption. But corruption is in your party, not only in the ANC, but in all other parties as well. The problem that we
Exactly.
have here is we have men and women in power that are evil. Men and women that don't care about other people, about those living in South Africa. We have people that are running this country that only care about themselves. You know what?
There we go.
Let me just go back. I've listened to some people. They feel that the royal families would give the stones back and everything they stole from South Africa. That's going to be the biggest mistake. You know why I say that? If all those things come to South Africa, those in power now will do exactly the same. It is evil people that are in charge, and for that we need to say, but enough is enough. We need to look for men and women that have godly hearts, men and women that knows what to do, what is right for the people. We have become corrupt because we have allowed these things, and for that reason, that's why we're suffering.
Very
All
good.
these evil things happening in our country is
Yes.
because we have men and women that are evil. That is why we're going through this phase.
Now you see, when corruption threatens the country, where does that stem from? Now I'm going to another point.
Mm-mm.
The ones who implement the laws. Who implement the laws? Now we go to politics.
Yeah,
So if you implement the law according to what satisfies you, then that's the law, right? So there where
mm-mm.
politics come in. And and in politics, if there's corruption in politics, then you have a problem.
Yeah,
Now we talk on a high level now. So let's say, for example, um, I have corruption in my political party. So
yeah.
if you have corruption in your party, you're a criminal
That's
and you
right.
support crime. So
That's
how
right.
can people trust? So in the police, minister of police, this, that, the law enforcement agency. How many times did I hear now for the whole bloody 6 months about policemen were arrested? This policeman was arrested. This policeman was taken with a video drunk, and
Yeah.
this, that, and just police. So where's the people gonna go to? Who you gonna trust? You can't go to the police, and
Mm-mm.
you can't go to the criminals, the gangsters.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So who can you trust? Who can you go to for help,
Mm-mm.
for advice?
And that's a
Now
good
that's a
question.
problem. Now the people of
Mm.
South Africa, law-abiding citizens, is sitting with this problem now. You have in the public sector corruption. You have in the private sector corruption. Bloody hell. Where can you
Mm-mm.
go? Public sector, private sector, corruption all over. You understand? Where's the people gonna go to? So
Mm-mm.
now, what I've also
Mm-mm.
seen is about this gun laws, whatever.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It's just because I've got my right to say what I want to say. It's
Mm-mm.
like we as law-abiding citizens, you can't shoot if someone
Yeah.
comes to your doorstep, blah blah blah, illegal
Yeah.
gun or not, whatever. But you have the criminals running around with illegal guns.
That's right.
So what are they trying to do? To keep us as
Mm-mm.
law-abiding citizens to not to have a bloodbath, because to you,
Yeah.
this country can race to a civil war. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we cannot have a civil war because this is my sentiment that the police are keeping us there, the government is keeping us there, so that
Mm-mm.
imagine if we also gonna have guns and
Yeah.
illegal, then we're gonna have a
That's right.
bloodbath because
That's right.
then people are gonna go crazy. So
Yeah.
they are restricting us, but they're allowing the criminals.
That's right.
You
Uncle,
understand? How many
you were talking like
illegal? And I'm shocked.
yes, there's a lot, but you were talking about
I'm
the
pissed off, to be
the
honest. I'm
guns.
angry.
I actually spoke to a few gentlemen in the last couple of weeks. You know what? There's guys that are waiting, farmers that's waiting for their license to be approved for the last 4 years already to protect themselves. So every time the license, they do everything according to the books and to the specs, but they have been waiting 4 years. Almost, yeah. The one is 4 years, the other one is 3 years, and the other one is 2 years, waiting for guys to give them legal license to have a firearm to protect themselves. Because as you and I know, the farms are not safe anymore. And for that reason, obviously, if the farm is, if you're living in a farm and you're producing, trying to make a living for your family, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to have a gun for yourself. So you are kilometers away from the police. You are thousands of kilometers, perhaps, or hundreds of kilometers away from protection. So what do you do? And like Paul said, he said something here. I'm not a violent man. I hate all forms of it. I hate weapons, but I'm starting to think the only way to protect myself and my family is to get a firearm license. SEPs can't protect us. They've proved it. And you are right. In a community where there's maybe just a few officers and there's crime happening, remember the Cape Flats? There's gangsters all over. We live amongst them. Somebody said here also the mass in the past with the gangsters and they protect them. But I think it has come to a time where we need to look at alternatives. How do we protect ourselves? So there's two things we need to do is to protect our family, and the other thing that we're going to struggle with, it will be easy for us to protect our family. We're going to do what we're going to have to do. But the other thing is this: getting rid of this corrupt government. That's our biggest challenge, all of us.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that's
only affect,
exactly what I'm
but it
saying.
doesn't only affect myself. It doesn't affect the colored man alone, the white man alone, the black man alone, or the Indian man. It affects all of us. We're all a part of the
All of
statistics.
us.
They kill black people, they kill white people, Indian people, and colored people. And I think that is
There
what we
we
need to
go.
look at. Corruption.
Now, how can you? I just saw now on TV now, just before we got on this, 7
Mhm,
policemen has been arrested from, I don't know, Ukulele, whatever place
mhm.
this is. I don't know the name of the place, but just now, 7 has been arrested.
Yeah,
And last week, 13. And last year was 50 something. How many police is getting arrested? They're getting more arrested more than the criminals.
that's right.
How come? And they are supposed to be serving the people.
Mm-mm.
So there's something is not right.
Yeah.
Then you have the Minister of Police that said they interviewed him, and he says this Jacobs something, he was head of intelligence. But so ask him, ask the Minister of Police, who's the head of intelligence, so we know people know what's going. I don't know.
Yeah.
He said,
I want to say that
I
video.
don't know.
Yeah.
Say, yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
it's funny, but it's serious because the
Yeah.
interviewer
Yeah.
says, "But Mister, that's very astounding. Like
Yeah.
that's serious stuff. You as a minister, in other words, if someone asks me, so is Stan your friend? I don't know. I don't know if Stan is my friend. Doesn't make sense, man. So we're dealing with I don't know people. Do you understand? Something is not on. But like I said to you, it is deeper than we think. Because even in the judiciary, we have judges, right? What is their job? Fair judgment. But there's corruption there also. So you don't know who to trust. And then people they implement the laws. Now, come on, think logically, man. If if I had a seat in something, and I know my brother is a criminal. My brother or let's say he's a pedophile, you know, and I have the right to implement laws now.
Yeah.
I would say, hey guys, I don't think we can, uh, because I'm trying to save my brother now. I don't think we should be harsh on people who rape. You must,
Yeah.
like you
Mm-mm.
give him a chance, like one. I'm just giving an example because I know my brother is one, so I'm saving my brother also. So
Yeah.
that is what people do. So
Yeah.
that's how they change laws to make it better for their family members.
Mm-mm.
So when it comes to corruption, said now we can't do that. Why? Because in their family they have they have criminals also in their family. You want to
That's right.
tell me people in those political parties they don't have family who are criminals?
Mm-mm.
They do. Any
Yeah.
family has a black sheep.
Mm-mm.
So you do your best to change that. Don't give me this at sentencing and all this. And
Yeah.
I've seen where people are guilty. Like this one
Mm-mm.
guy, I don't know. He came from prison. He was on bail, and he raped this uh, 12-year-old girl.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know what's her name, but I have to
Um.
come to that
Yes.
now. But you know what I'm talking? Van Beek something. That girl,
Het
and
is tas
he
net van
killed
week.
her,
Ja.
right?
Het is net. Ja.
There we go.
Het is net
Now you
van week.
tell
Ja.
me if,
Mm-mm.
if you know the guy's guilty, and the lawyer is saying, well, and they're trying to cover up for him. What the bloody
Yeah.
hell is this lawyer's doing? You
Yeah.
know, that's where the law comes in. Like the lawyers, they know you're guilty, but they're
Yes.
still gonna fight for you.
That's right.
You see, this is a problem. This is a big,
Yeah.
big, big problem. You understand?
But
You have
but uncle,
the guy,
but
but
yes.
listen to what. Sorry, listen to
Yeah.
what this guy is saying. This guy
Yeah.
is saying. Listen to this. This guy is saying
Yeah.
consent. It was
Mm-mm.
consensual.
Yes. 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 Where is own daughter as well, eh? Where is own daughter as well?
Yes, yes. And then it says no. It is something about the gene. Like
Mm-mm.
it's a natural
Yeah.
thing that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
man.
That that is the people that we are. Look, he was in prison and then he came out. He was in prison for the same thing. He was in prison for many years. Then he came out. You must remember, for pedophiles and rapists, the system don't rehabilitate them. I have done a lot of research on pedophiles. Some of them won't change. It's a disease that you can't actually. They have done a study. Once you're a pedophile and you rape young children, there's almost like a 0% chance that you will come right, that you will be, that you can be rehabilitated. So it's guys like this. There was a girlie in my daughter's class when they were at Chris. What's her name? Michaela. She lived in Pelican Heights, and we know her mother very well because her mother used to teach my daughter. And the guy actually, he raped her and he killed her. It's a guy that was in prison and he came out for the same reasons, and he done this to several other girls. And our our government know we are sitting with this big problem of having these pedophiles and these rapists in our communities. But in other words, you as government are saying yes, we need to stop gender-based violence, but we're releasing these pigs back into the community to destroy our women and our children and keep us hostage.
There we
We
go.
are allowing the gangsters back in the community to keep us hostage. Other thing is this: there's a lot of people that might not like what I'm going to say now. Even those people who actually, glorify their family members that are gangsters. That's my niffy, that's my nuggie, that's my uncle, that's my pa. You glorify
Hey,
these people. We're glorifying them. We are also part of the problem. I can tell you there's
there we
many
go.
times where I Jesus where people tell me, yeah, but you want to judge everybody. I'm not judging everybody. I'm just saying we have social ills in the communities. Gangsterism, corruption, and all those things are playing part of the bigger problem. Uncle, myself, and you are from the
Yep.
Cape Flats. We didn't steal, we didn't rob people, we didn't do bad things to people. We
Nah,
struggled to get done with to get to where we are, but we worked hard. Why is the next
there
person
we
doing it?
go.
Why is the next person blaming everybody else except him or herself?
There we go. You see, Stan, we are not. Uh, you see, even if you had nothing, man, if you have faith, you know,
Mm-mm. Yeah,
there was a time where I had no work. Not that I don't have work. I had to change my visa, so it
that's
took me
right.
1 month.
Mm-mm.
Now I could buy uh, a lot of stuff or go to a restaurant, but I saved the money. I bought some whistles, right? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm saving.
yeah,
But even a little bit that I had for 1 month, I survived with it. I didn't go steal. I
Yeah.
didn't go here, there.
Mm-mm.
And eventually, I started coming up again because I had perseverance. And I know I'm going to get
Yeah.
somewhere. There's two kind of people, and I know a lot of people are going to like what I'm saying, but I'm going to say it. I don't believe in good and bad.
Mm-mm.
It's good and evil.
That's right.
Because a good person can be a bad person too, but he's still good, good and
Yes.
bad. But evil is evil.
Pure evil.
Sorry, evil is evil. Like I say, not many people can agree with me on that, but that is where I sit. When I was in Dubai, I tell you, it's the safest country. Safest country. I can leave my mobile phone in a restaurant and go home and realize it's there, and I come back, it's there.
Yeah.
I can leave my
Mm.
wallet there, it's there. Why? They set an example with you. You don't
That's
come
right.
to this country and mess up. One guy, people coming with drugs, with marijuana, 3 years, and then you get
Mm.
deported.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna do that
Yeah.
because you know you're gonna sit for 3 years. These guys don't play there.
Yeah.
One guy in 2005, uh, Pakistani guy, he raped a young girl, firing squad.
Mm-mm.
So you're not gonna do that. Some people
Mm-mm.
try to get away with it. What
Yeah.
happened recently? One of my friends told me the Nigerians, there was a robbery in Dubai.
Mm-mm.
Don't do that. Because I know the places, surveillance cameras all over.
Yeah.
And the CID, police and
Mm-mm.
CID, Criminal Investigation Department, they got
Mm.
caught. After 20 minutes, they got caught.
Mm.
So what did
Wow.
they do? They said, listen, we don't want Nigerians here. This is embarrassment for us. We don't want Nigerians here anymore. The people were
Mm-mm.
appealing at this. Doesn't work. This is our
Mm-mm.
house, our country. We ask you to
Mm-mm.
come here. We invite you. And look what you are doing.
Mm-mm.
So all the Nigerians, because of that, whether you're a doctor or lawyer or this and that, go back to your country. Your government must sort you out.
Yeah.
Because it seems like your government has let you over, not even knowing you're a criminal. So
Yeah.
that means a lot of criminals go over to other countries. Says you can do that in America, you can do it in Germany, in Italy,
Mm-mm.
in UK, but don't come and do
Mm-mm.
it in our place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Understand? And that is how strict it must be. I'm
It needs to
sorry.
be. Yes. But that uncle, but the
Yes,
thing is, how do we get it back to that level? It used to be like that. Look, the ANC or the government now are making the old government look like angels. The old government look like they've done a lot of good things because of how they messed up. How have we gone from we're supposed to go from bad to good, but we went from bad to worst. And for that reason, I mean,
exactly.
I always say this, we had some of the best officers in the Navy, in the Army, in the police. We had some of the best detectives. Peter Bale was one of the big guys. He was one of the there was three top investigators in the world, and Peter Bale was one of them. A South African guy. We had the best
Mm,
task force. We know if somebody was kidnapped, immediately those people were caught. You can still go and look at the old videos and stuff. The guys, you know what also messed up our system is this nonsense of BEE. BEE doesn't work for me and for you. It works for the corrupt
ah,
officials, right? So that is how we work
there
in
we
our
go.
people, incompetent people running our structures. I mean, aside from the crime and everything else, if you go to home affairs, it's a 3 to 4 week waiting process for some people for some things. That is how bad our systems are. We have gone from we just had everything. There was the helicopter die was it nou die rooi arend of die rooi els iets is daai one of the best. But okay, they didn't make a lot of money, so I think they sold the patent to Russia or like someone. We just had the best of everything, and within no time it was messed up because of incompetence. I mean,
Now,
you still
yes,
have a country going. They still want to win. They still want to win 2024. Yet we still have people that don't have toilets. It's 30 years later. We still have people that are making use of a bucket system. We still are giving up people, a small fraction of what of the of the inflation every month. So how can we trust the government that has messed up so much good things in the last couple of years?
Yeah, honestly, this government must go. I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say, but I could have said hope, but I don't see any hope. You see,
Yeah.
when you talk about the past, how it was before, right?
Mm.
Now, think about it. If you want to be successful, don't think about the past. Learn about the past.
That's right.
Because if you learn from the past, then you learn about the mistakes. And from that mistakes, how I can better myself, how I can rectify it. But you're not going to think about the past. Because if you're
Mm-mm.
going to think about the past, you will never be successful. I give you an
Yeah.
example. If my father, just for example, was a drug addict, now I'm watching him, and now time goes on, he's not there anymore, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to think about my dad. I'm going to think about how maybe I'm going to be angry at him.
Mm-mm.
He dies, I'm more angry at him.
Mm-mm.
You understand? I didn't learn anything because I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it. But if I
Mm.
move on and say, Ya Allah, yes, God, forgive my dad, I pray for him.
Mm-mm.
I forget the past,
Yeah.
but I learned from it. Okay, my dad was like that. Okay, when he come home, he's always moody, so and so. Hey, that's it. He's fighting with my uh, family, with my mother. I don't want that to happen to me. So now I learn from it. I've learned from it till it doesn't happen to me. You understand?
Mm-mm.
Because I want to
Mm-mm.
better myself.
Yeah.
So same with the government. In the past, you learn from it. There's some good things and some bad things. So you learn from the good, take from the bad. Okay,
Yeah.
so and so. Now you bet yourself. But now you're going to think about the past and say, no, they
Mm.
did this to us and we suffered and this and that. And we've been in isolation, but you're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm.
So my advice is always to don't think about the past. Learn from the past. I've learned from the French Revolution. I've
Mm-mm.
learned from the unification of Germany. I've
Mm-mm.
learned from who started the First World War, Otto von Bismarck. I've
Mm-mm.
learned all those things, and it's here. So by
Yeah.
learning all those things, I can see where they went wrong. You
That's right.
understand? And from there,
Mm-mm.
you better yourself. Let that don't let that happen. So our government must look at those things. Look at the history of the world wars. Look at the
Yeah.
history of Uganda, how this Idi Amin, uh,
Mm-mm.
all those people. Check it out. See where they went wrong.
Mm.
And though it's not going to happen to us, then better yourself. But they're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're just doing the worst.
Mm-mm.
Hope
And
it
I
makes
and
sense
I
what I'm saying.
and I agree with you. Jesse asked a question. How do we get people to vote who didn't vote? Jesse, we need to start having this type of conversations in our home. All of us.
Yes.
I know 1,000 people. You know all of us know people. So once we have like we have a braai we talk about, guys, you need to vote. We need to speak to our young people, those turning 18. That's why a lot of political parties just look at they think you're stupid. So what the political parties are doing, they are getting all these youngsters and registering them for the driver's license, and boom, julle gaan vir ons vote. So what political parties are doing, they're getting these youngsters ready, work ready, apparently work ready, but it's also for them to vote for them. But this is what we need to do is we need to get the young people out there and tell young people in matric, you guys are 18 this year, and those of sort of 9 should also start registering. And once they are registered, we have a better chance of getting more votes for, you don't have to vote we always hear this, you mustn't vote for that one and vote for that one. Vote for a party that you feel. Don't listen to people, but vote for a party that you feel deserve your vote. Because that's the only way we're really gonna get rid of a government that is hopeless, is to get the younger generation to vote. Because the problem is also the older generation only vote for one party. I remember my mother, when she used to vote, she would always vote for the NP. And then the NP was replaced for her by the DA. So she was a what I would call, she was a traditional voter. And I respect my mother and I love my mother because this is what how they have been indoctrinated. This is what they've been told over the years. There's only two parties. But we need to know that there's a variety of people, variety of parties that is doing well. Some of them are not on Facebook. Some of them don't. There's parties that you won't see on Facebook, but they are busy out there. So go look at these people in the community and make a decision and vote. Take that vote somewhere else. Because remember, if you look at what has happened, Jesse, in the local government elections, a lot of small parties rise, meaning more seats were taken from the bigger parties and given to the smaller parties. So, in other words, that's how you dilute the power of the bigger parties. You give it to the smaller parties. And that's how the smaller parties keep the bigger parties accountable. I strictly believe South Africa will be, in the next couple of years, a coalition government. It will not consist of one party, but it will be a coalition, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. But I look out to more of the good things, because if we get parties to work together, then they can keep an eye on one another. So that is what I feel. I don't know how you feel, Uncle Abu. If you feel the same, or is there other solutions?
Uh, well, first, let me, when I think about Jesse now, what he's saying about how do you get other people to vote, you know, that's a bit tricky because we've got so many parties that people are confused. And that's why if they don't know who to vote for, they're like, nah, it's fine. I don't want to vote. You understand? I was the same. So I can vouch for that. I was not. Because when we started, because we knew what we were fighting for equal rights. And I became an ANC. I wasn't even a member of the ANC, but we were fighting for it. I never voted for ANC. I'm 14 years old.
Guys, can you hear me? I don't know, Uncle Abu. Look, if we lost him there quickly. Guys, can you hear me? I think Uncle Abu got lost now. But yeah, let me just add it quickly. What Uncle Abu, now, I remember when I voted for the first time. It was my first time voting, and what was supposed to happen was, my mother then spoke to me, vote for this party and that one. And then, like I said a couple of weeks back, one of our school teachers, informed us and said to us, guys, this is how you vote, this is why you must vote for the ANC. And because of what has happened over the years, and how it has been done, I feel, what, the ANC deserves my vote. And for that reason, I voted the ANC for my very first time. I feel that that has been stolen from us, the promises. And for that reason, I also feel many people feel the same. Uncle Abu, are you back? I lost you there now.
Yeah, yeah,
There we
no
go.
props, no
Okay.
props. Yeah, so where did I end up now about the voting? Yeah, so I was an ANC member. Uh, I was 14 years old. I was at school, but we were fighting our guts out for ANC. So it's not about voting. It's about whose hearts is there. Their hearts must be there. But now, if you have so many parties, Are you there, Stan?
Yes, uncle. I'm still here. Eh?
Yeah, yeah. So if you have so many parties, that's confusing because
That's
where
right.
are you going to put your heart? Because I'm from District 6, man, and we were
Mm-mm.
really fighting on a serious
Yeah.
level. I didn't even know what ANC was. I was just fighting for them because I wanted a better life.
That's right.
But we have so many parties. Who are you going to vote for?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put your heart to? So
Yeah.
where's the power of the people? So you have the power of the people in all parties. What is power of the people? It's one. It's one group
Yeah.
who wants to take power,
Mm-mm.
right? But how can you have so many parties? Where is the power of the people? Power of the
Mm-mm.
people is split. How
That's
how
right.
can you overpower a government
Yeah.
if you as the people's power is split in different sections?
Mm-mm.
If you look at the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette when they cut off her head
Mm-mm.
and the king, because they had the either leader and the slaves and the middle class, right?
Mm-mm.
So what did those people do? The French people, they were all white. There was no black people and colored people in France. French Revolution was white people. But what did they do? They all came together
Yeah.
and they overpowered the royal
That's
family.
right. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But it's the power of people.
Mm.
It wasn't a party. What
Yeah.
is the party? A party, if you look at it in English, a party of people, a
Mm-mm.
crowd of this, a
Yeah.
bunch of this. So a party is the people.
That's right.
So if everyone can come together as one
Mm-mm.
and dominate, then you have power. But you can't have your power distributed in all different parties. So that means you want a good life for your children,
Mm-mm.
family, or for the people, but you
Yeah.
belong to that party.
That's right.
I want the same thing you have, but I belong to that party.
Yeah.
Now we have conflicts here,
Mm-mm.
but both of us we want a better life. But now we are fighting here. So if we're gonna fight each other also,
Mm-mm.
how are we gonna overpower for
That's
a
right.
better life?
Yeah.
So come together as one
Mm-mm.
and fight the system.
That's right.
But we cannot.
Mm-mm.
We cannot. We have too many parties. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to say that.
And
And
I think
between the
also.
parties is
Mm-mm.
yeah,
No, no, uncle. But,
between
but,
that
but
parties is competition.
that's right.
It's a business. So
Yes.
people must start realizing, bugger this party business, but first get your act together as the
That's right.
people.
Mm.
Why you vote for this one, vote for that one? Some people don't even know why they vote.
That's right.
When I talk to people, I said, "So why did you vote?" Because when the better this that. Okay, so now what is that party gonna do for you?
Mm-mm.
Now I'm just one of them, and just to make it more. That's it. Just to make it more to
Yeah.
feed. But there's
Yeah.
no idea what can the
Mm-mm.
party. Okay, what can the party offer you?
Yeah.
I don't know, but they said they're looking for seats in the parliament.
That's right.
I'm not talking about the seats in the parliament. I'm asking
Mm-mm.
what can the party do for you?
For you, yes. But that
So
is
I think that
that.
is the first thing people must. That's the first thing people must start
Yeah.
acknowledging and
Yeah.
realizing that the people's power can only come if all the people stand together as one.
Mm-mm.
Not
Uncle, you're right.
this. Yeah.
No, no, uncle, you are right. You mentioned something there that I've picked up with a lot of parties. It is a business. It's me, my wife, and my family. I get into parliament. It's me, my family. I get into local government. I get. Remember, these guys get. They can say what they want. The politicians must stop lying to the people that yeah they only get a certain amount of money. No, they get big money. They get good money. They get a lot of
Of
perks.
course.
This is my question I want to ask these politicians and these people, our people. If you know what, you can actually see if a politician is a leader. You ask them in the last couple of months that you have been in parliament, what have you done for the people? And I'm not talking about money, giving money to people. I'm talking about what if your party built. Have your party created jobs? Not from other parties. Government send out a lot of jobs and so on. What if your party have done? What is the initiative? Because we need parties that have initiatives. Parties with drives. We have a lot of people. Everybody want to be a politician, but when it comes to implementation, I can tell you, I'm so afraid to share my stuff on Facebook or out there because I know these guys are watching me and I know who I am, and a lot of them are stealing my ideas I've come across. And for that reason, I'm
Mm,
very, very quiet about these things. I don't get paid for having these conversations. I don't have get paid for doing the things that I do. But I can tell you, many of these party
exactly.
positions that you guys vote for. If you go into the communities, if you go into your Parkwood, your Lotus River, your Ottery, in those areas, then you look at yourself, what have these guys done for the people? I mean, it's at a time now where some of these politicians are quiet now. You don't hear of them, but you will see them next year with the Bochi. We're fighting for you. We want to keep, you know, something, Uncle. I don't know if you follow the Prince Albert. They are up. They're gonna have a by-election now. Everybody
Mm, mm.
that's a politician is down there. I follow them. I watch everyone from the DA to whoever is there. The ANC is there. Everybody's there. The big guys are down there. They don't know like your decision makers. The moment they win that area or that place, you won't see them again because they got the vote.
Yeah,
They have somebody in parliament. Now remember, they get money. Everything is about money and power. We need to realize that we can dilute that power. The moment we decide, but we as the people, we had enough, and you don't work for
there
us, you
we
didn't
go.
work for us, then we take the power away from them. We need to know that we sit with we sit with the power to decide who gets the power. So we must not look at ourselves as normal people. And the reason what's happening here is politicians want to divide us because the majority of people in the country is black people, the minority is white people, and then in between is not us, right? So
There
if
we
we
go.
up together, we can overpower them. But they keep us,
There we go.
like this. You vote for us and they vote for them. There's always a this and a them. There's no this. There was never this a them in us. It is we South
We,
Africans. We need to get that
we,
right. The moment we buy into that we are one. There was a program on TV. Simone, we are one. And we need to stick to that. If we are the rainbow nation that they baptized us, then we need to stick together as a rainbow nation. And we need to say, okay, guys, let's decide who we're gonna vote for. You mustn't go run after politicians. They need to run
you
after
see,
you. Krag weggegee, you know?
yeah, you see, Stan, I read a book, and years ago, and I still have it. I didn't read for a long time. It's called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People
Mm,
by Stephen R. Covey, right? Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, if you read the book, you understand, but I'm going to give you something, some I, you, and we. Now, see where the power comes in.
yeah.
The I is I can do. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
What's happening with the steam, man?
I'm still here. Here we go. I can see you.
He went off.
I'm back again.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back, Uncle.
Okay. So coming back to that. So that I is I am independent, right?
Yeah.
You, it means I need I need you for things. I'm dependent upon you, right?
Mm.
But for
Yeah.
me, I'm independent. But what is the we? The we is mutually interdependent. So
Yeah.
if we, the unity, can come together, we are mutually
That's right.
interdependent. And you
Hmm.
see, that's more powerful than dependency and independence. We're talking about interdependence. See how
Hmm.
powerful that is. So if we all can
That's
think
right.
about we, then we have power. But it's all about I and I and you. But it's not
Yeah.
a we. We say the word we, but we are not together as we. See, if we can get that right, then we are on the right track.
And
Um,
Uncle, I think that is the thing. How do we start this movement of uniting people? What needs to happen here? We need to unite our people. We are gonna have to get together from all the areas and say, guys, let's take hands and let's stand up together. Because we we come from worse, but we're even worse off now than we were before. That time you couldn't go to certain beaches because of your skin color. Now you can't go to certain places because of two things: you were not employed and because of crime. You can't leave your area because of crime. So we have once again become, prisoners in our own
yeah,
city, in our own country,
yeah,
and that needs to stop. That needs to stop.
yes, yes,
We have some of the best cops. Like I said, there is good policemen out there, but we don't have the leader. Becky Shirley is no leader. That is a clown.
no,
We need to
no,
stop
he
giving
must,
him
he
that
must
credit.
fly.
He is a clown. Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't see any leadership skills in that guy. I was excited when Jacob Zuma stepped down. I thought, wow, Cyril Ramaphosa is going to pull everything back together again. But he himself,
Uh,
he himself is a big problem. I look
and
at,
there's no excuses. And there's no
yeah,
excuses because he appointed the ministers.
that's right.
So he cannot back off and say, I've got nothing to do with this. You
Yeah,
appointed them. You
yes,
are responsible. Take the
yes,
responsibility.
yes,
Don't run away from that responsibility. Don't blame anyone, blame yourself because you
that's right.
appointed them. You see,
That's right.
look, I told my wife, uh, 3 days ago, I went to Fishhook to just renew my license, my car license. And this guy came out and I'm driving 30 kilometers and he can see I'm driving and he still came out. And luckily I didn't make an accident because I was slow and I'm driving and I'm standing next to him on the next traffic signal. I said, watch how you drive, man. Yo, listen, I didn't see you. I said, okay, so you know you're wrong. Why you make a big? So another guy came here, another white. Because there was a white guy, and there's
Mm-mm.
another white chick that came there, and he said, "Ja, jy's verkeerd, man. Die
Mm-mm.
ou het reggery vir my like en julle sorry for the swear word. Sê die kak man. En ek sê getuie as hy moet nou vir jou gestam het, dan het ek getuie is 'n pad man. So imagine one whitey say that to another whitey. And I'm a
Mm-mm.
colored. I'm not talking about the race. But that made me think, yay, this whitey stood up for me to this other whitey. So we
Yeah,
have people. Now we
mm-mm.
need people like that
That's right.
to stand with. Not
That's
about
right.
color.
No,
That guy was standing with me.
that's
And
right.
that meant a lot to me.
Because of
You
justice.
know, exactly. So
Justice.
if we can start thinking like that,
Mm-mm.
then we're on the right track. If my brother
Mm-mm.
is a murderer, I
Yeah,
promise you, I will report him or I'll take him to
that's
jail
right.
myself.
That's
Why?
right.
I tell you why. I
Mm-mm.
tell you why. I told you before about I'm a God fearing person. Yes, I
Mm-mm.
am, sir. 100%, 110%. I'm a God fearing person,
Mm-mm.
law abiding citizen, and I will protect, fight for my family,
Yeah,
especially women and children. Women and
yeah,
children. You see? So as a God fearing person, I'm not going to stand back for anyone.
yeah.
Because why I say I would take my brother to prison if he was a murderer or a rapist. The reason why, because if I leave this world, I have to, I'm going to be held accountable by God Almighty. You understand?
Yeah.
That's my fear. So if I don't do my duty, then God Almighty is going to hold me accountable. Hey, you know your brother did the wrong thing. Why didn't you do anything about it?
Yeah.
Don't you obey my laws? You
Mm-mm.
see, that's my fear. So, irrespective of what, everyone has got their own. You get atheists, you get this, you get
Yeah.
Buddhists. It's not my problem. I'm Muslim
Mm-mm.
and I believe in the one and only absolute God that I'm afraid of no one else, only Him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you commit a crime, I will report you because I don't want to be held accountable by my
Yeah.
Creator. Does it make
Yeah.
sense what I'm saying?
Hundred
And
percent.
we and I don't know 1 second, this flag that we have, uh, die naam van onze, isn't that to do with God,
Mm-mm.
right? So aren't
Yeah.
we supposed to be a God loving, God fearing country?
Yeah.
You have an anthem talk about waar die kranse antwoord gee en da and God is with us and whatever and conte we siswa. What are they saying? Isn't
Yeah.
it to do with God? So
Mm.
that means we are God loving country.
We're
Now
supposed to
where's
be.
God?
Mm.
Exactly.
We're supposed to be.
Exactly. So what does criminals do? They're not
Mm-mm.
God fearing.
No.
So what must
No.
we do?
Yeah. What must you do,
Yeah,
Uncle? I
I
just
don't
want to
want to
read.
go deep into this, but
Yeah.
yeah,
We.
I'm curious, man. For
Yeah.
3 days I'm
Now
curious, and I'm never
I
like
understand.
this.
I understand. Government will not unite us. Government will not free us. Government will not save us. For as long as we are kept divided, we be
Beautiful.
used as pawns. Correct. The true power be within us, the people. That's me, you, and you, and you. That's right. It starts with the I. We don't need any political savior. We don't need. That's the problem. We've put too much glory on politicians.
There we
Um,
go.
we the people must rise up and start moving in love, out of love, with love, with no love, no labels, just a bunch of individuals moving in the same direction, joining hands. Ellie, and I agree with you there, 100%. I think that is the way
Yes,
forward. I
there
just
we
want to
go.
answer Jesse's answer quickly. What happened to talking about the kidnapping though? It's gang doing. Is it the gang doing this? Is it foreigners? Jesse, I don't know who's doing this. They are doing an
Uh,
investigation, but what I'm saying, Jesse, is that it comes down to the corruption in our. These things can be stopped permanently. It has been in the past. Sy het nooit gehoor as ons nou daarvan wil hou of nie. In die ou government het jy nooit gehoor mense was gehijack gewees of dit stuff like this never happened. Even the gangsters knew when they saw the police coming into certain areas, they would behave. And for that reason, it comes back to us selecting a government that is there to. They don't have to fear God, but they will have to uphold the law. We need to fear God as
yes,
people. We can't. A government should consist of individuals making decisions on behalf of the people. I mean, ESCOM. My daughter is 16 years
exactly.
old. When she was born, load shedding started 16 years later. We still don't have electricity. We're still running out. I mean, we were down last night, this morning twice, and this afternoon, this evening. We are killing. We are being slowly being our economy is being killed because of of incompetence. Our crimes out of control because of incompetence, BE and all those type of things. So we need a government to take over this country, and be there. The first thing, if I should become in, if I should be, so get power, I would scrap the BE nonsense. That's the first thing. And then I would go, and all those comrades that stole all the money must be paid back to the people, must be paid back into our coffers. Secondly, then we need to do a lot of things that we need to, our education system. Our education system is, oh, I mean, you still have the Cape Flats. You still have one high school. You still have one high school and three primary schools in one area in today's time, 2022. And some of these schools are dilapidated. It's falling apart. So we need a government, Jesse, to make decisions. If you have a company, just one last thing. If I have a company, me as the owner of the company should look at how can I grow this company. If there's no growth, there's no money, I can't employ people. And for that reason, I'm always going to sit. I'm going to have to make decisions sometimes. That is not what the people want, but I have to do what is good for my company. The same with the country. We need those type of people in charge, of our country. I just want to see. There we say we need to put God Allah first on everything. I agree. They are not God fearing. Many of them are not. I get you. Let me just check here quickly. We need the basics back in our school. Yes, all those things has been. Uncle, do you remember when you were at school? We used to get books for free. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Something that I've picked up over
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks. So the nice thing about Cape Flats stories is that I always speak to people that are working in the communities, people that are doing businesses that are giving back. Do you know how many school children are not getting fed every day at school? I always hear, yes, we're giving to our schools food, we giving this to our schools. But when you speak to those in charge of the schools, and I won't mention names, I have emails and stuff here, and these people tell me, but we never received anything from government. This is local government. We haven't received any assistance. We have reached out, and then you ask yourself, now what is being done with the money? Where is the money going to? Corruption is everywhere. Uncle, I don't know if there's anything else
That's
you
what
want to
I'm
say.
saying. If you say Stan about the education, I'm laughing about it. The
Mm-mm.
kids are buying new books every year. 300 rand, 400 rand, 500 rand, almost 1,000 rand a book
Mm-mm.
every year. I'm saying like, what? And we had our syllabus, boom, change that. Okay, new books coming in. We're going to another class, and we got old books, and we just put in brown paper and plastic. Boom, finish. We studied. I look at this one kid showing me about his marks now. He's got an A for science.
Mm-mm.
But when I look at it, I'm like, man, your A is in. I compare it with a C. When
Yeah.
I had a C in science, that's
Mm-mm.
an A. So
Yeah.
that means to say that my C is an A. Now, how did he get that A?
That's right.
So the level of education is,
It has gone
you
down.
know,
It has
when
gone
he when,
down.
when he says to me he's got an A, and he's so proud of it, I'm like, whoa, wow, wow, that looks like a C to me.
Mm-mm.
So something is not right with the
Yeah.
education system.
That's right.
You talk about getting from the government. We had every day we had bread and we had
Yes.
milk and we had
That's
orange
right.
juice
That's right.
every day.
Mm-mm.
So nah, this government is needs not a wake up call.
They need to be
It
removed.
needs, there we go.
You know,
They need
there's
to be
no easy
treated
way
like
to
a
say it,
textbook.
Uncle. Yeah. There's no easy
Not
way to
no
actually
easy
say
way.
this. We need to get rid of them. Anders dan gaan ons weer, we're
That's
going to
it.
sit here in 2025 and say, we're going to say 2025, but you know what, guys, we need to get after the next elections. I don't think there's any hope for us anymore. If we're going to vote for the same people in charge now, and we're happy with what's happening, look at the
Business.
situation currently, nationally and locally. If we're going to vote for the same people now, Then we need to look at the bigger picture. Yeah, but where are we going to sit in 20? I mean 2030. I mean, then we might as well pack up, take our bags, and go look for work overseas. I mean, before it's too late. You know, Uncle, what I welcome, I tell our young people that are done with like studies. There's youngsters sitting in South Africa in Cape Town has a UCT degree, and I know a few of them. UCT degree in in a BCom and a BA, whatever. Finished, did very well. Now they need to get experience. Like they can't get experience because there is no jobs for them. They don't come from previous disadvantaged backgrounds, which I find hard to believe. And for that reason, many of them are going overseas. I encourage them go overseas, go work there. Maybe one day when you come back, our country will be better. But for now, this like we come back now to early on, kidnapping is out of control. Um, Robberies is out of control. Hijacking. I heard down the road somebody the other day. Hijacking is not only here in my area or in the Cape Flats. It's all over. You know, and for that reason, we need to wake up and say, but guys, we can't follow
Yeah,
the same pattern every time.
it's my wife warned me many times. Says you. I said no, don't be like that, please. Don't be negative. I'm telling her not to be negative now for two
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
And now when I started bursting, she laughed. She goes, "I told you, you didn't want to
yeah,
listen to me." And
yeah,
now she could see I'm bursting because she never saw me
yeah,
burst yet.
yeah,
But I'm on that level now because you see, when I
yeah.
was fighting for the ANC, I was SRC. I was the chairman of the SRC at school,
Mm-mm.
student representative. I was a chairman, so I
Yeah.
know what I'm fighting for, and I'm
Mm-mm.
prepared for this fight now. You know, I will do my utmost to make the changes, and but you cannot do it without the influence of the people.
Mm-mm.
We need the people to get together and not to be in. Look, if you, my brother, and your friend, let's say we are four brothers,
Mm-mm.
we are fighting now, people
Mm-mm.
together, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna win. You're
that's
not
right.
gonna come to our house and mess up. You gaan
Mm-mm.
nou 'n piksteel uit, sy aan 'n saal
That's
uit,
right.
and this and that.
That's right.
That's what brothers do.
That's right.
But now you are my brother. I said to you, let's do our thing. Nah, nah, I'm gonna do that because
Mm-mm.
I have to deal with my other things here.
Mm-mm.
There's we're not gonna win because you're not standing with me.
That's right.
You're doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. So how can I protect the house if you're not
Mm-mm.
there with me?
That's right.
But
It's our house.
if I say stand, it's our house, it's our mother's house. We need to fight for this. What are you gonna do?
Mm-mm.
You're gonna leave everything and come with
That's
me.
right. Yes.
Now, now we are strong.
Yeah.
Until we have that, then we have power. If you
That's
talk
right.
about power, that's the
Yeah.
only time we have real power.
Yeah.
Not, you see, if you pick up a plate, can you pick up a plate with one finger?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Two
Mm-mm.
fingers,
Maybe.
maybe, like a scissor.
Yeah.
Three, but your whole hand
Yeah.
can pick that thing up
Yeah.
with ease. And
Mm-mm.
that is power, the power of the people with ease. Not
Yes.
power of the people struggling, because if this people belong to that party and that to
Mm-mm.
that party and that to that party,
Yeah.
then it's a struggle. But if
That's right.
everyone comes together as one, then
Mm-mm.
it's easy.
There we go. Uncle, but that actually, just to end off, JC sê hy gaan slaap môre week, but just to end off, if we like, we have our favorite teams that we play for, that we like, Liverpool, Manchester United, wherever.
Nah, Liverpool, yeah.
We stand together. We are, even if they lose, we stand with him. That same
There we
passion we
go.
should build. So the same passion we should build for our country. We may not agree with
Yes,
many things,
of
but I
course.
believe in this country. I believe that this country can be like it used to be back in the day. I believe that not back in the day, but better. I believe there's still hope for this country where everything will be equal. It means that we're going to have to stand together, black, white, colored, Indian, and some people will say other. You know, we need to also respect those people. Some people don't want to classify themselves as a race. But between us all,
Yeah,
if we sit down and we say, guys, we're going to stand together and we're going to fight whatever is happening. I mean, we need to come, all of us need to come together and say, we're putting an end to this 2024. There's nothing they can do to us. I mean, Uncle, they are, the political parties are in the minority, the people running the party. But the people that's voting for them is the majority. So who is stronger? It's the people that's voting for them, not the party. The party is
there we
merely
go.
just a vehicle to drive the people to where they need to be. And this vehicle has been in a lot of accidents. This vehicle is not roadworthy. We need to get in a vehicle that's
Yeah,
roadworthy, and we need to
there
take
we
this
go.
fight forward. We people,
And
you don't have to be a politician. You just need to be activists for your people. An activist.
there we
When I speak
go.
about you people, it includes South Africans. Each South African. We need to stand up.
Yes. And so action, action. It's no
That's
use
right.
we talk, but
That's
it's no
right.
action. The
That's
thing is,
right.
you mentioned something about we agree and we disagree. This is normal.
That's right.
There's sometimes when uh, we will disagree on something but minor things, you know. But law abidingly, law
Mm-mm.
abidingly, we
Yeah.
disagree, and but not on corruption or this is we totally out of that. Now
Yeah.
let's say agree, disagree. It's the same thing with you if we eat food, right?
Yeah.
And say now I'm gonna have tomato sauce, and now I'm gonna have Tabasco. Now, now I don't like Tabasco. You know, we can differ over that. Your taste, my
Yeah.
taste,
Yeah.
but the food is the food,
That's right.
right? Just different sauces.
Mm-mm.
But if the food is sour,
Mm-mm.
then we don't need to talk about sauces.
That's
And
right.
we don't need sauces because we're not going to eat the food either.
That's right.
So we just then we don't need to agree and disagree. So that
Mm-mm.
food needs to be thrown away
Mm-mm.
and buy new food. So the same thing
That's
with the
right.
government. If the government is sour, we
We
need to
throw them
buy
away.
new food.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it is a very simple. That's very simple. We need to stop making it about. You see, the moment we make it about color, about one
Ah,
race, that's the moment when they
that's
win.
the
That's the moment
problem.
when they, when the system gets to us. We need to say, "Hey,
That's
but do you know, Uncle? You are a musician. You have black friends, colored friends, Indian friends. You got friends right across
oh
the world.
yeah.
That is what music
Oh
does. Music brings you to like together. But why are we sort of putting ourselves in a box that we only believe in certain individuals? We need to get out of the box and say we need equality for all of us because we all have been done injustice in the last 30 years.
yeah. Man, there's a guy from UK, a friend of mine. Uh, we went to Movenpick. I played pool. Indian.
Mm-mm.
You know, his face is Indian. You can see he's Indian. But he's from UK. This one guy was saying, hey, for this Indians, this is. And he goes like, yeah, Mike, what you talking about? And he's it's powerful. Yes, I'm Indian. Yeah, you see, Indian. I'm British. That's it. And that's how the people live over there.
Mm-mm.
You don't say Indian or Pakistani or this. If his passport is British, he's British.
No,
And so that's why we in South Africa, we mustn't look at color. We must
that's
look
right.
at who is South African.
Mm-mm.
If I see your passport, your ID South African, you are South African.
That's
Whether
right.
you look Chinese, you are South African. As long as you abide by the South African law,
Mm-mm.
you understand? But if you are not, I don't care what you look like.
Mm-mm.
But if you are not a South African, and you mess my country, then I need to
Yeah,
deal with you. You
that's
need to
right.
leave this country.
They need to
That's
leave.
where illegal immigrants come in and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So man, there's a lot of things that we didn't have, that we don't have right, man.
Mm-mm.
And we
We
as
don't
the
have it right
people,
because yeah, no,
we
because we
have
don't have
no,
the right people in charge.
yeah,
We don't have leaders in charge. We we have people. You know what? The right person in the wrong job can be a problem, and also
yeah.
the wrong person in the right job can also be a problem. And this is what we have. We have the wrong people in the wrong jobs.
My problem is, and that was scary for me. The moment Ramaphosa became president, he appointed ministers.
Yeah,
I don't think he thought about it.
yeah.
And everyone's clapping hands.
Mm-mm.
First, go into detail, like, hey, and even there, I'm saying, there the people don't realize they must think.
Mm-mm.
They don't. The people are weak. We are weak
Yeah.
because a
Mm-mm.
president cannot just come and say who is going to be the minister of this. You need to let the people know why is he going to be the minister. Okay,
That's
tell
right.
us why so we can argue
Mm-mm.
about this. We can agree or
Yeah.
disagree. So if you
Mm-mm.
say, okay, he's going to be the minister of, first let us know why,
Mm-mm.
because the people have the right to know why is he going to be the minister of that. The people have
Yeah.
the right to know why do you appoint him as the minister of agriculture, okay, so the minister of police. Tell the people, and then the people can tell you, yes, fine, you can appoint him, because the president has no power. We are the power.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we say to the president, I don't think that this guy's right for this job, then it's the president who say, okay, like, you have decided, the people have decided. So
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna change. So the people have decided that the minister of police should be terminated. And that's what he must do, because the people has the power. He must follow what the people say. Hey, the people want this.
Yeah.
I have to satisfy my people, so I need to terminate this guy's contract. Then you get a new one. But then
Uncle.
ask us, what do you
Mm-mm.
think?
Yeah.
That's
Uncle, and
that's
you're
the
right.
problem.
That's right. Uncle, I have to greet now because it's almost 11 o'clock. But
Yes.
thank you so much. We will have this
I
chat
never
again.
talk
We
so
always
long, but this like,
yes,
yeah.
no, but it is relevant stuff. But
This
this
is
is the
good
other thing.
because
Mm-mm.
uh,
I just want to say what the
that's
people
fine.
are
Go
saying
go
here,
on.
and the people are correct. It's that comrade deployment is deploying people because of of their background. They've been comrades for years. Let's put them in position. You have old people. You have people old in the
Yes.
in Parliament. The Queen died at 96 years old. She reigned until 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Why don't we give over? Why are we afraid to give over? Why are we afraid for change? Because we're running with, you see, once you have these old people in government and in decision making, you still have that old structures, that old regime, that old mentalities making decisions on
Yeah.
behalf of a new
Yeah.
and vibrant people. So we need to get rid of that old people. The old people is the problem also. You have people that don't know
Sweep
what's
them
happening
out like
around
mice,
them,
man.
you know. But uncle, I'm gonna
Yeah.
greet you because the people are saying now goodbye. We had the liquor chat,
Yeah.
but we have to go now.
Yeah. I think we get the
But
time
you will have
now.
a chat again. We will talk again in the next couple of days, and then we will have another broadcast on here on this topic because it comes back to why
Yes,
the
Sam.
kidnapping and crime rate is out of control. It's because of our government. It's because of our government. That's
Yeah.
why the country is out of control. Why we have kidnapping, we have rapes, we have all those things happening. It's because our justice system has failed us to end off. Our justice
Well,
system is not understanding of protecting us. And for that reason, We need to point a finger at government and say, but government, you have this. 30 years later, more people has died in this country than in the apartheid era. If you go figure it out, we have more people dying
Yeah.
in the
I
liberators,
can't
in the
afford.
hands of the liberators.
How can I live if I can't afford my wife to go and go shopping alone? I have to
No.
be with her.
And we
Before
can't
I
even
could let
shopping
her go
also.
shopping alone.
But we can't even shopping because we don't have money to go shopping anymore.
Now,
They've
who
made it.
wants to live like that?
No.
Who wants
No.
to live like that? I don't think any normal human being wants to live like that. So if you
No.
don't want to live like that, get together and stop
Yes.
this nonsense. That's
Stop it
the
once and
bottom
for
line.
all.
Yeah,
But I feel, Uncle, out of this whole thing, I think it had to happen for our people to realize, we went one the moment we came out of the apartheid government, we expected it to be better. Like I said previously,
yeah,
but it became worse. But it prepared us. This would be a lesson for us. Those people that thinks they're liberators, that they're gonna take us into the promised land. Be careful of them. Because the ANC fought during the apartheid era, and
yeah,
once they won the battle with our help, we as the people, they abandoned us. And that's why we need to be careful of the next bunch that is also out there. We're doing this for the people, that for the people. You know what? When you become a public servant, your works would speak for itself. You shouldn't brag. What makes politics quite nowadays is your cell phone in your Facebook account. I can also become a politician tomorrow and start bragging on here, guys. We do this and that, but that's going to defeat the whole purpose. We need to look in our communities, just down the road, what's happening here in my community, who's working here, what is happening, what is being implemented, and for that reason, we need to keep an eye on those that is
yeah,
here. People mustn't brag on Facebook. I look at all these, Uncle. The one thing I look at is ward councils. All of them are becoming now, celebrities and influencers. This is what we did. It's your job to do that.
yeah,
Don't brag about what you do for the
exactly.
people. We put you in power. The
Yeah,
people put you in power. So you earn money. You earn a salary. So why are you bragging on what you're doing? And then you come, yeah, but I need to show
exactly.
the people. The Quran and the Bible teaches us dat we will be ons sal geken word aan ons vrugte. The type of life that you are. We are open letters. So people will
Yes.
see you. We need to stop going after Facebook and make decisions on what party is popular, how many likes do they have.
Yeah.
We need to go out there and see who's the ones working in a community, or if they're not working, who's the most sensible one, who's the ones doing things. That is how we look at getting an alternative. Uncle, thank you so much. Anything you want to add? Ek gaan ons nou groet. Ons is baie gepraat vandaan.
Welcome, sir. It was nice chatting to you, man. And thanks to the people for listening and also for the comments that everyone gave. It
Yeah.
means a lot. And the more
Yeah.
comments we have, the more we also learn. Because at the end of the
That's
day,
right.
my words, my last words will. So let's support. Let's keep the struggle real, man.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Uncle,
Ciao.
see you. Cheers. Cheers. Ciao. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Uncle Abu. He's also a very good saxophone player. Eh? So he always joins me. He's very much passionate about the political side because he comes, he grew up in District 6 and then he went to go live overseas, and we always chat about politics. And I have a lot of friends that I chat about these things because it's important for us to have these conversations in our circle, in our homes. My daughter's 16 years old. I hope by the time when the elections happen, she will be 18 years old, so that she can also go and vote. I've got cousins and nieces, and I'm also now preparing to go and vote. Ek maak hulle almal wakker because you know what? It's your duty and my duty. We that know the power of voting to go out. And remember, you mustn't wait for anybody to come and do you justice. You need to go out there and educate, have those conversations in the home. Kidnapping is just going to get out of control still. Have this government proven to us in the last 30 years that they have done anything that we can say, okay, they've done that? They've done nothing. They haven't built houses, decent houses. Some of the houses have have a one door. You know, some of the people are still living don't have toilets. Those people that we put in power, they stole trillions of rands. That money could have gone towards our people's the betterment of our people. The townships could have been improved. The Cape flats could have been improved. Jobs could have been created. But none of those were done because why? The money went into their pockets. So remember, when you see these things happening, you must should remind yourself you should vote differently next time and get the people, get your family ready. Those of you, if you want to do your family that passed away, you know, means you guys had lost family members in South Africa during this time, like myself and many of you, because of this incompetent government. If you want to do yourself a favor and your family member that you lost, go register to vote. If you aren't, get your family members to see the bigger picture and vote them out. And those that's going to take over should keep this government now accountable for what they have done. You know, we're going to need another session of reconciliation because we've been traumatized. Our people are traumatized. A father was lost, a husband was killed, uncle, a businessman, an employee was killed on Friday. Today they tried to rob a business in Lansdowne, in what's the place in Epping. They've killed a young man. The young man is obviously now this isn't me to explain. They shot innocent young boys 11, 12, and 14 years old because there's no law. Nobody's protecting the people of this country. We are law-abiding citizens, right? But the government treats us as if we are the criminals. The criminals have more rights than what we have. I fear for businessmen in this city, in this country. I fear for business people in this, living here because tomorrow you are a target. I don't want to be rich anymore. I don't want to be a businessman anymore because tomorrow they're going to wait for me outside of my house and hijack me or down the road. And it's compliments of the ANC because Becky Chaley stole the money or whatever he did to the money. He took money, spent the money on things that were not correct, what wasn't needed. I read the article how they broke it down how the money that he used them. How can you spend so much on one tire? You spend 6,600 rand. One tire. There's other things that they spend money on irregular expenditure. Things that happens under his watch. Billions. And that is the problem is now we can't employ officers anymore because they are guilty. He's living the life. And you can't touch him. He said the other day, somebody covered up for him and said, yeah, but that's the way how we speak. He said, it's better to be raped by one person as but to rape by many people. How can a government official, the man in charge of this kind of our SAPs, make a stupid comment like that? We need to relook at these things and we need to say, but this need to stop. We need to realize that as we spoke, we have the power to put an end to this. Our health systems, I mean, guys, I've spoken to you guys. Our people are sitting for days, our mummies and daddies sitting for days because we can't afford medical aid. Many of us are unemployed. Many of us, as during COVID, we must not forget, lost our jobs, got pay cuts. We need to recover still from COVID. We are millionaires, billionaires, and for that reason, we can't give our family good and proper medical aid. So we have to make use of the public domain. Our mummies are sitting in the hospital for 3, 4 days getting the worst service. Yet again, the people that are supposed to treat them are not competent. Some of them are just there to get their salary. Some of them don't even understand what the lady is saying in Mitchell Hospital, Secretia, because they don't understand. They got a job because of quotas and stuff. There's things like this we need to look at. And I'm speaking deep now, like I always say, because ek hou nie my bekkie praat, make myself a target, but there's things we need to speak about. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tonight for joining in. Please like this broadcast, share it, and leave a comment. But we can't go on like this. 2024 things are have to gonna things are gonna have to change. Otherwise, we might as well pack up and go. Sell your house, sell your car, and go. I mean, I actually envy my friends in New Zealand. I actually envy my friends in other areas because you know what? It looks as if we're fighting a losing battle, fighting against a government that don't really care about us, and they are so good. Politicians are so good. This is what my party is doing for the people, and that is what your party. Hey, stop talking that talk about what your people are doing and what my people are doing. Let's look at what we can do collectively. Because I'm so sick of people popular, it's popular to mark, making something, making the parties look so good, yet the parties are also messing up. We need leaders, not politicians. For now, we don't need politicians. We need leaders, people that can take. Stop making this TikTok cuck and whatever you make people's life is at stake here. We are messing with people's minds here because we know we're telling people, no, vote for my because you mine oh over mine vrou. No man. It was like cuck. We are living in a time where, it has become for us, we as men need to become father figures. The men on the Cape Flats need to become father figures because we have a lot of young men that are growing up without fathers for social ill reasons, And for that reasons, we need men that are father figures that will treat this nation as their children, that will respect one another. Politicians don't have respect for us. Politicians are only here for one reason, and that is to get a salary. They get big money. They get a lot of benefits. And we praat te min daaroor. And topics like this is not important because you know what, I want to talk about politics. You need to speak about politics. You need to open up your mind. We all are activists. Some of us do it in this quiet space, wherever. You don't have to be on TV or wherever to be activist. You can be activist in your home. Educate your people, your children, your wife or your wives if you have more than one wife. But educate your people. Start speaking up and saying, hey, we need to move with times. They will come into your communities, these politicians, and promise you, we're going to do this. 5 years later, before elections, oh, we must do this. Like I said earlier on, all of them are running up to Prince Albert now. And those people now are being promised, the decision makers that can't come into areas like this, down there. Once you vote for them, then tomorrow you don't see them again. ANC, DA, wie ook al. And because, you know what, because of that, sy raak so gatvol because, like Ellie said earlier on, Ellie said this, politicians are nothing but, parties are nothing but businesses. And it's true. They're not doing it for the people, they're doing it for their pockets. Exactly like the royal families that have been doing it all these years, enriching themselves, looking after them, investing it into their businesses, while we are struggling, while we are trying to make a living, while we are trying to survive every day. Elke dag staan sy op, sy moet gaan werk, sy moet jou tax betaal, sy moet jou car se license betaal. If you think about everything, the water, everything you must pay, they can't even protect us, but they expect us to keep this economy going. It's a sad day and time in South Africa. As 'n baie hartseer as 'n baie hartseer ding wat gebeur vanaand hierso. We have come to a road where we are so divided as South Africans, black, white, colored, Indian, and other. We are so divided that we're forgetting the bigger picture here. We need to stand together. Ons druk mekaar af, especially in my community, in die colored community. Ons druk mekaar af elke dag. Ons beklei mekaar. It's colored men is killing other colored men because of a stupid system, the number gang that is being brought into this. I don't know whoever brought it into this country. God should put that person in hell with the devil. Keeping our men hostage, keeping our young men hostage and slaves. That slave mentality. We need to kill each other. I don't know why these things are happening. And there's also under the watch of this government. You know? Ladies and gentlemen, I spoke a lot. But the question I'm going to leave with you is, are we ready to unite? Or are we going to be like this for the next 30 years? In 30 years' time, well, I'll probably be dead, but my children will still be around. Their children will still be around. It's up to us today to stop this nonsense once and for all. Guys, love you guys. And remember this, we should think as a one, as Africans, and not as people of color or race. South Africans. Cheers, guys. Have an awesome evening.